do I prepare a tech session? Welcome to a new episode of the Get Shit Done in IT podcast. My name is Michael Seidl, and our topic of the day is how do I prepare a tech session? So for all of those who maybe plan to have a tech session, do a speech, or maybe already doing it, I just want to show my insights. How do I prepare, and what I think is a good session is about. There are tons of better speakers out there and maybe with better advices, but yeah, I'm the only one in this podcast, so you get my opinion and my insights. And first of all is find a topic you want to talk about. Very easy. But in my opinion, also find a topic you want to talk about and you love. And on top of that, find a topic you want to talk about, you love, and you work with best on a daily basis. So I will not talk about any recipes in cooking, or maybe I will not talk about security stuff. So I talk about PowerShell, I talk about automation, I talk about Automator, of course. And that's things I'm feeling comfortable, that things I like, that things I work on a daily basis. And I think that is a main thing. And I think you also see that passion in the tech, in the speech, the conference as well. I also think that if you talk about something you don't like, if you do something you don't love, I think that affects your way on the content, on the preparation, and how to do that speech. And maybe as an example, I have a conference this week. So we're recording on Monday, April 7, and I have a conference on Friday in Leipzig, Germany. So Experts Live Germany. So I have to travel on Tuesday. I have the whole Friday, and I will be back Friday around midnight to Saturday. I'm traveling away from home for 2 days, and the whole preparation of the session, the examples, the idea, and then you go through that session constantly. And at least I do the session for myself, and only when I talk about, I will hold the session only in my four walls in my room, and then I understand if it makes sense, if what I want to tell makes sense, if the story is okay. So that takes time. I will do the examples, and I like to have a lot of examples and demos in my sessions. So this took me around 2 to 3 days to prepare the session, to do all that stuff, and 2 days for traveling. And that's one of the shortest ways for conferences. So usually you have 2+ days with everything, but Germany is very close, and that's easy. And happily, our nearest airport also flies to Germany again. So that makes it a little bit easier. So what I want to say, I spent 5 days to do a session for 45 minutes. And if you do that for things you don't love, if you do things for you don't like, I think it's really hard to spend that time to just do a session for 45 minutes. Okay? So that's what I wanted to say. Find a topic you love, find a topic you like, and so on. So for my example, I just talk about PowerShell. I talk about Graph API. I talk about Automator. I talked about Get Shit Done. The podcast was founded out of a session called Get Shit Done. So I only talk about things I like. And then there is the passion that you can invest 5 days and just do a session for 50 minutes. Or 45 minutes. Okay. So that's one of the most important things. Second one is find a tech conference where you can speak. So the best session doesn't make any sense if you're not able to speak. So there are a lot of platforms out there. That I think the most famous one is Sessionize. There are a lot of other ones. There are a lot of called dictionaries. Dictionaries. No, not dictionaries. A list of conferences on different pages. So there's a Microsoft community page, other pages. You just can Google or ChatGPT it. There are a lot of sites out there where the conferences are listed. And then you can apply as a speaker. So it's called Call for Speaker or Call for Content. And then you have to apply as a speaker. Mostly you can do 3 up to 5 sessions to apply for a conference. And after some period, you get an information you're accepted, you're not accepted. And that's the way you get a speaker slot. And of course, here you have to write a good content, a good title, a good content. Some conferences are asking you what are the learnings of the sessions and everything. So here you need to spend some time to write a good proposal to be taken as a speaker. And the third one is to do your session, or to plan it and to do your session. And my opinion is, usually I have not many and not very fancy PowerPoints. I prefer to have a lot of demos and real life example. So my plan is to provide examples that the attendees can use after the session. So that's my thing. And I talk about nothing. I'm not a marketing person of Microsoft. Of course, I talk a lot about Microsoft. I'm a Microsoft MVP. So that's it. But I'm not standing in front of telling people how cool Microsoft is. Of course, something is cool, but I also tell them what I don't like about Microsoft. So I really try that every single person has to learn something or can learn something in my conferences. So to get some insights, to get some learnings, to get some code examples, to get some real life examples. And that's my goal. So everyone needs to learn something. So I do a lot of less PowerPoint, a lot of examples. Additionally, I try to understand what kind of audience is coming and to prepare or change my conference, my session slightly to target the audience. So for example, Graph API PowerShell is very random. Yeah. But if I am at Intune based conference, then I will not show examples on how to work with Exchange Online and Graph API. Yeah. So then I will change my topics and my content slightly to fit to the Intune area. If I'm more on an average conference, then maybe I will do some intro, some Exchange, some Intune. So the main idea or the main topic of the session stays the same, but the examples and the experience and the topics are slightly adopted to the target conference. So otherwise, trust me, if you talk about Exchange Online in an Intune conference, they will not be happy. Okay. Of course, you need to keep your main session idea, your main session topic. Yeah. You cannot then talk about completely different stuff, but adjust your examples, adjust your demos, adjust your content slightly to the target audience. Just see what kind of audience will come. If it's an Intune related, of course, it will be easy to match it for Intune guys. So that's it. Find a thing you want to talk about. Of course, you have to apply to be a speaker. And then for doing the speech, adopt the content to the target audience. I'm trying to interact with the audience, to have a conversation and everything, and ask them about their experience. And what is very important for me, what I maybe forgot in the previous point, I talk about things I like, I talk about things I love, I talk about things I do in my daily business. And I talk about things I think I'm not so bad in. Okay, I'm definitely not the best PowerShell script. That's it. But I have a lot of experience, and that's what it is about. I'm not doing sessions to be the most interesting person in the room. I'm doing sessions to spread my experience and to get feedback from the audience. I want to listen to them. I want to understand them, and I want to maybe have a different opinion. That's fine. So I'm not the one who knows everything in front. I'm not the one who making the rules or something. I'm just talking about my experience. I'm talking about my failures. I'm talking about my customer project, how we did it. And that's the main thing. So if you have a different opinion, shout it out. Okay. And that's one thing I learned at a lot of conferences, and maybe there are speakers out there. If someone tells in the audience that they did it in a different way, they're just not shouting in that way, but they're just trying to make them silent. Because then they're feeling that the speaker is then feeling he's not the pro anymore. Okay. And that's definitely something I do different. If I'm here, I'm not the one person who knows everything. Definitely not. I'm telling my story. I'm telling my experience. I'm trying to start a conversation. I'm trying to start a process of people thinking about what I'm telling, and starting a process of they might find a better approach or better solution for a problem we talked about. And that's what I love about those sessions, because then I can use that input and talk about the next session. Okay. So if you're one of my next sessions and you have a different opinion, don't hold it back, raise your hand and shout at me and we will talk. Definitely. Okay. So that's it for this week. I wish you a nice Monday. Stay productive and see you next week. Bye bye. If you enjoy this podcast, if it brings you joy, provides value, and you perhaps even listen to it on a regular basis, then I have a request for you today. I need your support to help the podcast grow and reach more people. What you can do is very simple. Subscribe to it on your preferred platform, leave me a comment, a rating if you liked an episode, and share it on social media. I want to reach every IT professional out there and help them better organize themselves. And I'm extremely grateful if you help me with this.